Okay, we're going to be finishing Excel Project 3, and then I'm hoping to get to actually practicing using real data. And we'll get to that, but first, let's see what we've done so far, and we'll review two major things I want to review. First of all, absolute cell referencing, and conditional formatting. Two very, very powerful things that not a lot of people know how to do in Excel, but you're going to know. So here's our project, and let's just go over what we had and the formulas, and we'll do a little practice. Actually, that was the finished one. That's not the one I want to show you. I guess I must have closed the one we're doing. Let's go to open previous. There it is. This is the one I'm working on. That was what's going to look like when we're done. Here's the one we're working on. And I highlighted the places that we had numbers. I'll remove my highlighting because that was for helping somebody emphasize things. All of this, if I hit the Control tilde key, all of that I see, those are formulas. The other places we have actually typed in numbers. Control tilde again, and I'm back to my numbers. I'm going to remove that shading before I forget. Let's go ahead. No fill. We filled in the months. We're going to be prettying this up later. I'll go full screen here and enlarge it a bit. So don't just copy the numbers. These are the only numbers where we enter values. Everything else is a formula. And even better, we only entered the formula here and we copied over to the rest of the months. Oh, and also, I want to review one more thing that's important. If formula. Three things that are on the final. They're the more challenging things, but knowing them, having a good idea of how those work, will give you Excel skills to win that job and keep that job, which is going to be harder to find for the next few years. Okay, so first of all, before continuing this, let's remember what we're doing here in this formula. And I'm going to take a look at the salary. The salary formula here means I'm multiplying by a percentage of my revenue. See how that highlights B4 when I double click my formula. And it's also multiplying by this salary percent. So basically what this is saying is salary is 20% of our revenue. We're forecasting to spend 1/5 of our revenue on salaries. But the dollar signs, the sticky dollars, mean when I copy the formula, keep that pointing to the absolute location of that 20%, because there's not a new 20% for the different months. So absolute cell referencing with the stickies. Now notice I can decide whether I'm going to stick one value or another. If I stick row 22, but not the B, it will change, but if I ever copy down, the 22 won't move down. What really, the only one that matters, since I'm copying the formula to the right, it's really only the $B that matters. And remember, if you're not planning on copying a formula, you don't have to worry about absolute cell referencing. But it's when you make a formula and want to copy it to a lot of other cells, you want to think before you copy, hey, when I copy, what does not need to move? Or what do I must not move? Any reference to these tables must not move. So that's why I put the stickies. Absolute referencing is what we call that. So that does not move. Okay, so that's absolute cell referencing. Now let's review our bonus formula. This formula says if what's in B4 there is greater than or equal what's down in B21, that's the sales revenue for bonus, then what goes in the cell after the comma. What goes in the cell is what came after this first comma. Then it will be that. If this test, conditional test or logical test, comes out to be false, then what goes there will be a 0. I could decide anything to go there. I could decide to put in no bonus. And if I copy that formula over, I would show the words no bonus when that were not true. But in this case, we want to leave it 0. We have to put something in there. We can't just say, well, if you don't get it, don't put anything. Well, actually, it didn't come line. Let's see. Does it put that? Actually, it is optional. That's what I can say. Don't put anything there, or it'll default. I don't get anything if this condition does not turn out to be true. So let's just practice that, just to give you some practice. And let's go to a new page and let's call it function formula practice. Giving you practice for what will be in the final. I'll give you a problem, something like this. Grandma sends me a gift when my balance, my bank account balance, is below $500. Well, let's put in our balance, and gift. Well, balance, let's just put in a number, 123. And we want to make this an if formula. Well, we would say equals if. And the test is my bank balance below 500. Well, that would mean that bank balance there less than 500. Since I didn't say I'm holding the amount I need to be below another cell, I have typed it. I can put in just the number 500 there. Oh, I didn't say how much money she sends me a gift. Let's add that. She sends me a $1,000 gift. Otherwise, she sends me nothing. So let's fix that. Sends me a $1,000 gift. Now, if we look at the formula to go with that, that's what matches that sentence. Grammy's gift is conditional on when my balance in B5 is below 500. I didn't say less than or equal, I said below. So below translate to less than. 1,000 is stated right there. Let's do one more and then we'll get to our, then we'll get to our problem. I have a quota for my sales. I have my sales. And I have the bonus. I'll call that my bonus. And up in, how about at the top here, we'll put in sales bonus. Let's say that we're going to put $10,000 for our bonus. The quota to receive the bonus is 100 of homes. Say we're selling homes. My sales, I don't know what it is yet. I'm going to get ready to enter that. I can enter the formula for my bonus right here. Anyone want to help me with what that formula would be? You can type it in the chat or speak up. What would this formula be? I'll get you started. It's if. Hey, welcome, Manuel. Anyone want to help me with that formula? Either chat, type it chat, or turn off your microphone and tell me. Who wants to give that a try?
If my sales is greater than quota, then you get sales bonus.
Yep. So how would that be looking? How would that look like in the formula, the exact syntax?
So if B9
yep.
is greater than B8.
Very good.
Like comma, I guess,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
Comma 10,000, I believe.
Yep. Or actually, since it's listed there, I would just type B7. And I think I could stop there. You could do comma 0, or you could just, I think, enter it. Oh, and if you don't put the comma 0, it puts the word false there. That's what I remember. If I put a comma 0 otherwise, then it gives me a 0 instead of the word false.
Pretty sure. No.
That would be the formula for my bonus. And notice it doesn't care whether I've actually entered a number here. It's waiting for me to enter my bonus. Now there's one, perhaps someone might see, typically when you think of quota, you mean you've met or exceeded. So probably would be better to put greater than or equal, because typically quota means you've got to meet this or exceed. So greater than or equal to B8, then I get a bonus. And so currently, since I haven't typed anything there, it doesn't calculate anything or treats that as mathematically 0. 99, sorry, didn't get the bonus. Oh, I missed a digit. I sold 999 homes. It doesn't show the bonus until I hit enter, and that automatically updates. So that if formula for a quota, this is a typical if formula. You'll see these in tax forms when you're filling out taxes. If your children are greater than a certain number, then some other formula kicks into place. If formulas are all over the place on tax forms. So there's a little practice with if formula. Now let's get going on our project, and we'll come back and do conditional formatting. All right, so our Excel project is here. That's right, it's on the first page of this little practice. So that was sheet 2 of our practice. Back to sheet 1, we have our numbers entered across the top. Everything else is a formula. And now, what do we have to do? I think we're going to be fancying it up, the look of it, and then we'll actually do a what if analysis. But let's go and I think we're formatting. Let's make sure I got all the numbers in there. We're also going to be doing charts at the end of the row 2. Okay, so let me catch up in that. I finally got my online textbook re-enabled for me, so I can make sure we're following the steps that are given to you in the book. And we put in formulas, put in our assumptions. And as a jump ahead to the if formula there, make sure we did that. Yeah, the sales revenue. There's our if formula there. We get a bonus. And now we copied all the formulas over. And now we're on to the charts. So we've got all our numbers. Now we have an extra little thing we're going to do called a Sparkline chart. They're kind of, I would consider them more a little eye candy. I don't see them terribly useful, but anything you can do that fancies up your chart, let's at least know how it's done. So we're going to do a little Sparkline chart up here, and we're also don't want to forget, we did an automatic date coming in here somewhere too. Here's we're going to do a chart right here, and what we're going to do is go to the Insert tab. Lots of fun things on the Insert tab. We've been here before, inserting pie charts, but there's a whole section here of Sparkline charts. And we're going to do one, and then we're going to change it to a different kind. So we're going to start with a Sparkline chart of type of a line. So I click line, and it wants to know, okay, where do I put, or where do I get the data from? Well, I could type B4 colon G4, or just come down here and drag through it and see how it is filling in my data range for me. Since I'm already there, I think if I click all day, okay, it'll put the chart here. Let's find out.
How do you get to that chart?
That's a Sparkline chart. What was that question?
How do you get to that chart?
Oh, under the Insert
Okay.
tab, next to Home, Insert, and then Sparklines up here in the middle. Do the line, click your data range, and OK. If you don't enter a data here, it'll assume it wants you to put the chart where you were selected. And let's see if I can fill handle that. I believe I can. Looky there. Now, just for practice, I'm going to do it there from scratch and then fill handle down. Go to where I want to put a chart, insert, line Sparkline, choose my data, let go, hit enter or click OK, and now copy that Sparkline down. And because it's not a huge surprise that since all these formulas are basically multiplying by my revenue, all the charts look about the same. The only one that's different is the bonus because it jumps between values. Everything else, almost the exact same shape. So we made a chart, but then your boss comes along and says, you know, I like that line chart, but you know, I think I'd rather have a column chart. Or I'd like it to be a different color. Let's see here. Let's select our charts. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Control select through those. I'll start from scratch. Select through those. Control select through those. And now I can choose my style up here in these styles. There's lots of styles available. And just for fun, let's change it to blue instead of the default blue, dark blue. Just a slight change in the color. You know what? I'm going to let you decide your color of Sparkline. I'm going to go with an orangey. So we can adjust the style of it. We can also, I think they're going to have us change the type to a column. How do I do that? Well, I come back to here. I can change the type. And I think on the insert, no, can I change the type here as well? Oh, no, it wants to do a new one if I change it there. When I'm over here on design, it's changing the type of the one I have selected. So I can change it to a column chart. Maybe a little more attractive. Oh, and I forgot to put one there. I'm going to do a copy, paste, and I have one giving me a Sparkline chart across the row. I'd say it's kind of a cute, maybe an eye-catching or maybe a reminder that, hey, we've had some low quarters here, low months in our revenue. We got to work on that. It's all because of these numbers here shaping our chart. Now, before I leave to do further work here, I notice there's a little date up there in the cell, and I want to put that formula up there and give it the format that I like. And we're in cell, it looks like that's in cell H1. Let's go up to H1. We want to put a formula for today's date, or actually for the date that they open this chart. If I do a control semicolon, it inserts the day I'm editing it, and it does not change from then on. It's the day I edit it or the day I hit control semicolon. But I want this to actually change whenever they open the spreadsheet. So I want to make that a formula. It's a special date formula. And I'm not going to just show you the formula. I'm going to show you how I found out the formula. I go here to the F key, that tiny little F right there, and I can insert functions. And I can look for functions that have to do with date and time. Let me zoom in on that for you. I'm going to turn on my magnifier. Magnifier appears. There it is. I can click on the little F right there, and then explore the functions available. It remembers recently used ones, but let's go into date and time and see what's available in date and time. And as we hover over each one, you get a short little explanation, and you can click here to get a full web page of that function. I'm going to arrow key down through that list. Down in the ends, there's a nice simple function called now that returns the current date and time. If I hit OK or hit enter, it will put current date and time right where I happen to be when I brought up that. And where was I? Thought I was there. Well, I wanted to go here and My screen just froze up. What happened, Excel? There we go. Finally put in now. Oops. Try that again. Function, date and time. Go down to now, double click. And OK. I guess I forgot to hit the OK. And there it puts in the date and time. But really, I only want the date, not the actual time it is. So I can come over here to the formatting style, or let's see if I right click. Can I right click there and do format cells? And underneath number, I can choose format it as a date. Let me zoom in on that for you. When I format the cells, I can choose to format it as a date and whatever style of date I like. So I'm going to go down to 2-digit year instead of 4-digit year. And click OK. And now I'll see the date showing in a nice format. I don't care about what time it is. I only want the day. So that's your date and time formula now. Double click, that shows me the formula. The formatting of it is controlled by the right click, format cells, the date style. So as you work with this more and more, get used to finding those menus. Right click format cells. If you don't remember right click format cells, you come up to here and click this little guy. Or here you can choose date as well. Short date, long date. They give you a limited selection there with the pull down. I like knowing how to get to the full page of formats underneath number. Okay, so we have a date. We have our Sparkline chart. Now let's go back and format a few more things a little nicer here. Change the style. Change the type. And now it's formatting our worksheet to have proper centering. Let's start at the top and go through our formatting. We're not going to do a merge and center this time because we don't want to merge and lose our date. What we're going to do is simply select through all these cells right here and set a background color. So let's go, after selecting through those, choose a background fill color of a slightly light blue and go with that blue. It looks darker until you select off of it and then it's lighter. We're also going to increase the size of this since that's our title. Let's go ahead and put that in title style. And I think I want bold as well. Let's get this guy. Let's just make him bold. And let's make the color a darker blue. Oh, sorry, that was the fill. I want to make the font color a darker blue. Maybe a little lighter than. Actually, that seems like it's more of that blue. To be dark, I'll go with that. We're going to format the color of these all the way out to chart. Let's go ahead and make those bold. And let's choose that same color there. Revenue and gross margin, we'd like to highlight just those. Control select and then control select there. And control select here to put the background color, not in the chart, to put the background color a same blue. Okay. And I'm going to undo the gray there because I don't want that. I'm going to remove my fill in there. Now the numbers should, in any accounting table, any numbers having to do with dollars should at least be in comma format. So let's put them in comma format, and then we'll decide which ones we like to be in currency style or accounting style. Let's put them in account or comma format first, comma style. Then it looks like we want to put the top row into accounting format, the gross margin into accounting format, and the last two, the total expenses and the operating income, in accounting format. Immediately, it looks more like a professional chart, even before we add a few more styles to make it look even better. Putting things in comma or accounting format makes the numbers appear nicely for an accountant. Accountants hate numbers that don't line up, don't have two decimals, showing you the dollars and cents. A little more formatting. Let's at least get a thick line border under there. Let's put that in. Let's add to that or change that style. Let's make that let's try a heading. I think I like a heading. I think they did a heading 2. Let's go heading 2 on that. This, because it's a total, let's put these in total style. And we're not applying it to the chart, only to the numbers between, or from B to H. We'll put that in total style. And total expenses, including the title, we will be putting in total style. And let's put operating income in bold. Control B. And I think we want all of these as well. These should at least be bold. Now, if I zoom out, boy, that's looking like a decent looking chart. And now it's time to do one more advanced concept in Excel. Your friends will probably have never heard of this that have done Excel. Even people that have used Excel for a while don't realize what it can do. This thing called Whatif Analysis. So we've gone through the titles and make sure I'm not missing anything important. Oh, they'd like to do a cluster. It looks like we're going to do it. We're going to do another chart on another page here. Let's go ahead and look at our chart. We want to do a chart of the expenses grouped by, it looks like we're grouping them by months. Okay, so let's see what we want to do a graph of. This is a part, when you want to do a graph, you have to think, what is going to be my heading in my chart, and what are the numbers that I want to chart? Excel will try to give you something. Even if you select the entire table, it'll give you some crazy looking chart, but it'll be meaningless to us. We want to have a meaningful chart. So instead of just doing insert chart and seeing what happens and getting some meaningless chart, let's select carefully what we want to chart. We want to select through the names of our months, not the total. That'll throw our chart way off. Just the names of the months. Then the numbers that we want to chart are in row 9. No, not row 9. Oh, yeah. Row 9, control. Remember, we want to have them. We don't want to lose the titles. We want to chart the numbers 9 all the way out to G13. Not H, only G. So we're going to get a little fancier chart, but just the clusters of each type of expense. Oh, and I messed up. It's A9. So I also want the titles. I thought there was going to be more titles. So now we have 2 rows, or two lists of headings. We're going to have the months, left and right. Controlled, select the row headings and the values within those months. Now it's time to do a special chart that can display these numbers in some meaningful way. So we go to Insert, And we look at, let's just look for recommended charts. Excel, based on what you have selected, will give you a recommendation. Oh, it doesn't know what to do with that one. What did I do wrong? Let me try this again, because it's supposed to show a recommendation. Maybe I didn't do it in the right order. Let me go to exact order again and see what happens. Select through the names of the months. Control select through A9 to A16, G13. Let's see if it gives us recommendations. No, mine's not giving me a recommendation. The book is saying we're supposed to see a recommendation. Well, I guess we're just going to have to choose a cluster column chart. I'm not sure why recommendations aren't showing up. So let's go to column charts and 3D column, 3D bar, more column charts. Are there clustered columns? What's this? No, not a pivot chart. Combos. Sure looks like in the bar chart category. 3D column, 3D clustered column. I'm thinking this is the one we want, but they're not coming out the way I would have expected them to. Something's wrong. So possibly I'm doing something wrong to not get the type of chart. It's supposed to be a clustered column chart. I've got to be doing something wrong. Let me check here. Go back. I'm looking on page EX3-40, A3 to G3, A9 to G13, A3 to G3. Oh, A3, that's why. I forgot. Even though it's blank, I need to have it selected. There. And then control select. Now it should give me the right recommendation. What I was doing wrong, because it didn't have the same number of columns, it didn't know what to do. Now let's see recommended charts. There we go. That's what I'm supposed to get. Check. Even though there's nothing in A, I need to have it selected. Otherwise, he doesn't know what to do. Now I get the clustered column chart. And I think, yeah, we're selecting that very first one and clicking OK. Huh. Now, let's see what it means. The colors represent the various categories of expenses for that month. Pretty slick chart. I think we want to move that to a separate worksheet. See if they have us do that. Yes, we're going to right-click on the chart, move chart, and then choose it to be a new sheet, and the name of that new sheet is going to be expense chart. It creates a new worksheet called expense chart. Now, charts are worthless without a title, so let's see what title they give. I would call it 6-month projected expenses. I'm going to double click on the name. There we go. Control A to select it. Oh, select the title here. Drag through 6-month projected expenses. I'm going to do a Control A and enlarge that with a Control Shift greater than. I like to see the chart title. The numbers are going to be completely unreadable in a meeting, but they'll have known what this has some reference to projected expenses. And let's see if we're going to choose the labels. Let's click on the little plus sign here. Let's add some data labels right here, data labels. And we'll see them showing up on top of the bars. So somebody looking in detail on a printout, they won't be able to read this on a screen during the meeting, but we could give them a printout and they could see, ah, yes, there are nice details here. Of course, if they had this worksheet, they would know to look in the total expenses, or through the chart, but this gives, while they're looking at the lovely looking chart, a view of the numbers. Now here's the kind of thing that will help you. You may not be designing the chart, but you'll be at some meeting with people that have charts or accountants, and someone will ask a question about the data, and they won't know how to see the numbers. You'll think to yourself, oh, we did this in my project. How did I do that? Click the chart, click the plus, show me the data labels. You show that to someone that's used Excel, you show that you know a few of the extra features, they will want to make sure you are still around when they do layoffs because you really help them with their stuff. Your job as an employee is to make your supervisor, your boss, look good. When they need to decide who to let go, it's not going to be you because you've helped them look good to their boss, so their boss won't fire them. So when you see someone else working with Excel, they probably started with Excel 2000 and don't know all the new features that have shown up. Because you've learned 2019, you'll say, hey, there's that feature. You can adjust your chart this way. They may remember the old school way of hunting down some other formatting. So get used to those kind of things. Put those things in your little toolbox of maybe you're not the guy making charts, but if you're around when someone's working on one, you may remember some of these new features and you could help somebody. Okay, so we added the data labels and we can decide where the data labels go. Let's see, if I go back to there, if I hover over this, I can decide that the data labels can go in a particular place. And I think we decided outside end. I think that's where they are now, aren't they? Yeah, they are on outside end. If I have the base, unreadable. Inside end, hardly much different. Outside end, a little bit more readable. Those gets a little too noisy. So I'll go outside end, which was already the default. Okay, so we've got a lovely chart to go with our data. I can even choose different chart styles, colors of things. I'm not going to worry about modifying colors. We want to see the title over here. We are assuming this is dollars, but let's go ahead and let's learn how to do titles. So over here again, back over here, just click the chart, click the plus. Axes titles right here, I can turn them on. And now also decide, do I want to see both or just one? We don't want to see the horizontal one. We're just going to see the vertical one, that guy. And now it shows up, and I can come over there and replace that title with just reminding people these are dollars. And I can Control A, select, and enlarge that and put it in bold. To me, it seems pretty obvious that we're talking about money here, but now you know how to adjust your axes titles. It's over here. Axes titles on or off. Even if I have them on, I can decide, do I want both or just the one? So that little plus that shows up, there's a lot of cool things hiding under there. There's a lot of cool things hiding under style too. I can decide what style my chart is. I could have gone up here too, underneath design, and chosen my style there. But there's this little guy right here, lets you see what's maybe there. So chart style, let's just view what styles we have and just see, is there anyone that looks a little better than the others? I kind of like that one. Let's see. It gives me a preview of that. That's pretty cool looking, but they get a little hard to read. That one's a little pastel colors. They end up choosing, I think, not that guy. I think they end up choosing something like that. Style 6. Does it show me? Yeah, style 6 is the one they choose. Not a whole lot different than the one we had. Alrighty. Just a slight, maybe the bars are a little fatter. So style 6, is that style 6? Yeah, style 6. I could have also found it up here. There's the style 6. I like the ones that not only look decent on the screen, but if anyone ever wanted a copy because they love the chart and they want to use it for reference, the printout, you don't have to change everything to make it print out and be readable. So charts that can be made to be a nice readable printout. Okay, now let's rename a few tabs just to get our final organization done here. We're going to rename this to be 6-month financial projection. Just double click and then type in the name. 6-month. Let me magnify that. Financial projection. And the order of the charts, I want this to show first. So I can click and drag it to the left, and now it becomes the first chart. This sheet 2 that we had for practice, I'm going to leave it. Let's see, do I have any practice there? Let's call that practice. Double click. I'm just going to call that practice. And just so you have a little practice at doing it, we want to change the color by going to tab color and choose a tab color. I'm letting you choose a color. Just don't leave it plain. Right click, tab color, choose a fun color. You get to choose the color. Pick whatever color you like for the different tabs. And then there is a nice looking chart. We have yet now to do the what if analysis. We've got our graphs, we've got our charts, all nice and fancy, all ready to go. But one more thing left to do. We'll do that on Monday because we are out of time. No, we're not out of time. We got a few minutes. What am I saying? Let's do a quick what if analysis, and we'll review it on Monday. So the idea here is we want to see what will it take to improve our final operating income right here. So the key with a what if analysis is, I'm going to make the what if analysis right here. I'm going to put in here what if analysis. We want to do a before and an after, and what we're going to change. And what was, we'll call this a parameter or data changed. We'll call it, no, an assumption changed. What assumption was changed, and what was the result before and after the change. So the problem we're given to do a what if analysis is, what will it take to seek a 6-month operating income of $3,500,000? Okay, so the goal seek is, we want this to be a bigger number. So we're going to learn about this goal seeking to actually find the answer. Let's see what it takes, how we do a goal seek, and then we'll actually put that information we learned in our what if analysis table. I'm going to color that just to highlight. The goal is to fill in those with what we learned. Okay, so let's do a goal seek on this value. We want to seek this value to be $3,500,000. Well, we need to know, or we need to decide, what are we going to try to change? Because many of these assumptions will affect how much money we earn. If we reduce salary, if I just come over here and say, let's make salary 15% instead of 20%, look at that. I've increased my ending revenue above the $3,500,000. And I could play with these numbers all over the place and guess and get close, but let's let Excel do the work. Here's how we let Excel do the work. This is what I want to goal seek on. So we go to data, Whatif Analysis, goal seek. Data tab, Whatif Analysis, goal seek. And now, since I was there in H16, it puts that in with my set cell H16. Let's magnify that. Set cell H16, the value we're seeking is 3,500,000. But I have to decide, what am I going to try to change in order to seek that goal? Well, it was our site rental costs. We want to try to reduce our site rental costs. We're going to renegotiate our site rental costs so we can achieve that $3,500,000. Well, that was in cell number B23. All right, so up here, I say, let's let Excel do the work, change B23 up and down until my resulting income is the desired value. I click OK. And it says, hey, I have found a solution. It did say it found a solution. Now, the reason it found a solution is because changing this value does make a difference in that final income. If I chose some other number that didn't have any effect on my operating income, the goal seek would fail because there is no value. Changing that value didn't affect my final income. Now I can click OK, or I can cancel. It'll put my number back to what it was. I have to remember, though, what it was before I started. It was 10%. Now I click OK, and now I can fill in my table. Oh, but I forgot one thing. I forgot what it was before. So I'm going to fill in the result after and then do change this back to 10% to see what the result was. So my final result was copy, and the result in my income was 3,500,000. So I'm going to paste that. Oh, problem. I can't paste the formula. I must paste just the value. Just the value. Where's the value? There, just the value. I can't paste the formula because then everything moves and all those references get messed up. I can only paste the value. And the assumption that we changed was that. I'm going to copy that. And that is not a formula, so I can just do a regular paste there. If I don't want to mess up the formatting, I can change it to paste just the value. And change that to percent format. Not percent format. And increase the decimal. So the assumption was, oh, I forgot to say what I'm changing was I'm changing site rental. Now let's undo my change so I can document my before numbers. So I'm going to put that back at 10%. And now I see that, before that was 10%. The result before I made the change was that operating income. Copy, and I'm going to do a right-click, paste just the value. Right-click, paste the value. Might as well put these in comma format. Now I have a meaningful what-if analysis. The what-if analysis is saying or showing that by changing the site rental from 10% to 7.73%, my resulting income changed from this number to this number that I was goal seeking. And we found that out by doing a goal seek. So goal seek allowed us to answer the question, what do we need to negotiate our site rental fees in order to achieve a higher income? And with a quick little goal seek, you could come up with that answer if you had the computer and the Excel on it. Now, you may not be the one doing that, but you can whisper to the accountant, hey, use goal seek. I learned that from that wonderful college I went to, online even. All right, we'll stop there. We're not quite done. I think we're going to do another goal seek on Monday just for practice. Remember those quizzes. I've given you extra time. Don't be a calendar zombie. Don't let the calendar determine what you work on. Don't be a calendar robot. Think, oh, there's things that are due. I want them done before that due date. I'm not going to wait to look on the calendar to see what to work on today. Have a great day. Good to see everybody. I'm going to stop the recording. I'll hang around more if you like. Stop recording.